Thanks for watching the video. This is a book review of Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. This book is about negotiation. The author was a negotiator for the FBI and had to deal with many hostile, tense, dramatic situations. And he wrote this book to offer the reader some useful advice on how to negotiate effectively and to use different tactics, different strategies, different tips in order to get the best outcome. The overarching takeaway I think one can get from the book is the importance of understanding who you're negotiating with. The crux of the book is that we should first seek to empathise, to understand where exactly they are coming from, their motivations, their emotional state of mind, their beliefs, their worldview. Really try to get into the minds of who we are dealing with. And this requires active listening. His main argument is that when trying to negotiate with someone, and the utility of the book has many applications, could be when trying to resolve an argument with your partner, could be in dealing with your manager or boss when it comes to discussing a potential pay rise, could be in negotiating the price of a house or a car. There are many ways negotiating comes into our daily lives. And first and foremost, his argument is that we should try to listen to the other person as much as possible and never engage in conflict. Never come across as being aggressive or attacking the other person, because this seldom works. He argues that we should mirror to some degree what the other person is saying. So when actively listening, he suggests that we can use leading questions in offering the person the opportunity to be heard, because his argument is that most people, they just want to feel as though they're making a connection, and it's impossible for the other person to move closer towards what we want, what we would like the outcome to be, if there's no trust, if there's no rapport, if there's no connection. And so he talks about labelling as well. So one strategy is that if you're having a difficult negotiation, one strategy might be to put your finger on how the other person feels. So you could say, it seems as though you feel this way because blah, 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 whatever the reason might be. And the eureka moment in the negotiation, he suggests, is that when the other person says, oh, that's right. Because in saying that's right, you've established a connection. They feel as though you understand their position and their perspective. And then they're more likely to cooperate, they're more likely to collaborate, because they like you and they feel that you appreciate them and value them as a person. So the book is all about emotional intelligence, first and foremost. It's about understanding what's actually going on inside the other person's head on an emotional level, rather than trying to logically reach a compromise or an outcome. Because if you do it logically, often the motivations of who you're dealing with are not strictly logical, so this can be counterproductive. So he talks about framing, he talks about tone of voice. The way you talk to people matters a great deal. He suggests having a calm voice, a low tone, because you don't want to come across as abrasive or you're creating obstacles or friction. You want to make people feel comfortable so that they're able to express themselves. And he talks about a number of other techniques as well. I found this book absolutely fascinating. I would give this an 8 out of 10 for quality and utility, because I think the main lessons are about communication skills and about trying to improve our relationships, because all relationships involve give or take, compromises, agreements, disagreements, different opinions, and how you handle that is going to make a big difference to your happiness and well-being and success over time. So this was a great book because although it's primarily focused on negotiation in some very intense situation, he talks about bank robberies and people that, violence, people with a violence tendency. But I think the lessons are quite broad in that the approach and techniques he advocates can be used in everyday situations to get better outcomes. So do check out the book, it's an excellent book. He's also given a talk with Google and also with TED. There's a TED talk which is very good as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.